All right, we're going to start this off with a little bit about Kyle Rittenhouse. The left apparently is still not over the fact that a teenage guy who defended himself with a deadly weapon, justifiably as was decided by a jury of his peers, got away with it, I guess. There's nothing to get away with. I mean, you all know how much they hate the idea of personal responsibility, and then self-defense is the epitome of personal responsibility because, well, you're personally responsible for yourself and your life, and you have to defend yourself by any means necessary, and at that point in time, the necessary means of defending oneself was with deadly force. Again, as a jury of his peers decided. And so Twitter is still not over it, and of course they're erupting over the fact that he is a student at Arizona State University. Check out what they have to say.
Join us and rally against racist murderer Kyle Rittenhouse being permitted on our campus Wednesday at 3:30 outside the Nelson Fine Arts Center on campus.
The majority of Americans, which I gave you evidence, Facebook, Arizona State University, etc., know Kyle Rittenhouse is a murderer who was not held accountable by the judge or the 12 mostly white jurors in Kenosha.
What student would feel safe if he decides he doesn't like something and gets his gun and starts shooting? Why? Because he got away with it before. Never trust him. That murderer, Kyle Rittenhouse, is going to Arizona State University. I guess his School of Higher Learning supports the murder of unarmed protesters by a vigilante. The American people know he's a murderer, and now we know the school supports murder. Retweet if Kyle Rittenhouse should be kicked out of Arizona State University. He is looking for trouble. Well-known party school Arizona State University doesn't want acquitted double murderer Kyle Rittenhouse to attend their school because nothing kills a party vibe faster than murdering all the attendees.
As the parent of a black college student, I wouldn't want a white supremacist and killer in a classroom with her. Arizona State University students are justified in not wanting him enrolled there.
Kyle Rittenhouse hopes to attend Arizona State University on campus. He is an ASU grad class of 83. No effing way, killer. Maybe little bastard Rittenhouse should be better off at Liberty University instead of Arizona State University. He'll be able to continue his education in racism, white supremacy, and hypocrisy all at the same time.
Students at Arizona State University are pissed that Kyle has enrolled there. Maybe he should enroll at Trump University or Liberty College. I roll. It's becoming legal to kill people for protesting the same systemic racism it's becoming illegal to teach.
Colleges should maintain a strict no murder policy.
Students at Arizona State University are demanding the university withdraws Kyle Rittenhouse's admittance. I agree with the students. I wouldn't feel safe knowing a murderous white nationalist was roaming around campus. Why did ASU accept Kyle in the first place? Expel Kyle.
Super fun how they absolutely refuse to acknowledge the fact that self-defense was even a thing. Also super fun that they still call him a murderer even though he was the one being attacked and who would have been killed by the people who were assaulting him. And again, there is a precedent for this. People have died out there at these Black Lives Matter Antifa riots, and Kyle did not want to be one of them. So he defended himself. And they're calling him a white supremacist. Huh, that's weird, especially since he was like, no, I totally get the Black Lives Matter movement, and I'm kind of all about what they're about. Huh, but again, he's a white supremacist just because he defended himself against white people. Anyway, moving on, the next trending thing on Twitter was FLOTUS. And of course, with Christmas in the air and the Christmas season, we all had to look at the White House.
Our FLOTUS is doing a great job decorating the White House for Christmas. No blood red trees or other oddities, and no profanities about Christmas either. Dr. Jill Biden truly has class. It should not have been too big a leap from being FLOTUS to being POTUS. I am so effing glad that Melina isn't the FLOTUS. God, she was horrible at it. Finally, a normal Christmas celebration. Thank you. Thank you for not being weird, Mr. Biden. Oops. Dr. Biden. Thank you for not being weird, Dr. Biden. This can't be right. It looks beautiful and not like something out of a Stephen King novel. So nice to have normal back in the White House. Thank you, Mrs. Biden. Just because I love me some forever FLOTUS, Michelle Obama, and GOAT, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. FLOTUS herself placed the last piece of decoration, a teacher in front of the display schoolhouse. Who gives a F about Christmas and the decorations? Dr. Biden does, apparently. Thank you, FLOTUS. Nice to have a FLOTUS that doesn't hate Christmas. Triple hearts. Exciting to share that the official White House Christmas tree is up in the Blue Room.
So they're fawning all over Dr. Jill Biden because she made her Christmas, at the White House look like a bunch of fairies puked all over it. And of course they hated Melania Trump's White House decorating, and the fact that, in theory, I guess, she said, who cares about the decorations? Probably because she was sick and tired and pissed off at everybody sitting there trashing her decorating the White House, which was perfectly fine and dandy. A lot of people liked it. Some people didn't, just like I don't like the way she did the White House now, Mrs. Biden. And, of course, you got your little sucking up there with Michelle and the greatest VP of all. That just kind of goes to show you a little bit about how mentally deranged and deluded these sycophants are. The fact that anybody would still say that Kamala Harris is doing a good job whatsoever, not to mention Mr. Michelle Obama did a good job at anything either. They still talk about her fashion sense, which, if you remember her fashion sense, it was disgusting. It was gross. She was not a good dresser. She wasn't classy by any means, like some of the previous first ladies that we have had. Jackie Kennedy, classy first lady. Barbara Bush, classy first lady. Nancy Reagan, classy first lady. Even Mrs. Carter was a classy first lady. But, continuing on, Trump Jr. was trending on Twitter as well. Now, funny how the left always has a lot of constructive criticism that they can give, right? Like, they can attack on the issues and they, have substance with their arguments and actually have an argument in general. Just kidding, they don't, and they never have, and they never will. For instance, as I'm recording this right now, Dustin, little wheelchair wheels guy, he just sent me a message, ironically, on the smallest, most inactive page that I manage on Facebook, and he said that I am a true blue, down-to-earth, absolutely 110% fascist, and that it's been verified that I'm a fascist, and that I should expect no respect whatsoever on the streets of Portland anymore, forever. To which I replied, well, first of all, how am I a fascist? And second of all, I don't believe that I have ever gotten any respect from you on the streets. Remember that time that you followed me around and mobbed me all around Portland calling me Jake? To which he responded, well, you're just like Jake. And then he blocked me. If you are on my Telegram channel, you've already seen these messages, but it just goes to show you when I ask the question, how am I a fascist, I never get an answer. Just like Trump Jr. made a statement, and see how they respond to him.
Will the insanity of the left never stop? Remember those $450,000 payments to illegal aliens? House Democrats just voted to make them law, and the media is covering it up. We need to wake up and stop this bill in the Senate now.
And then they just, respond with this. And we're going to go ahead and respond with some of this. Second verse, same as the first. Lie, lie, lie. Junior, without Googling it, I challenge you to name your 5 children. Mexico is paying for the wall. Fail. 15 cases down to 0. Fail. It's infrastructure week. Fail. Gonna do the best healthcare plan. Fail, fail, fail. You're right. It is not enough. Next time you travel with your 5 children, you find yourself in a visa dispute and your children are taken away never to be seen again. Would $450,000 be enough to make it okay? We must demand more for the families of the lost children. Wow, that's how much it costs to disappoint 3.5 porn stars? You know them as mommy. Who else remembers when Donald Trump gave $6.2 billion a year tax break to ExxonMobil? Daddy got a new baby to love. Tell us how you feel about that. Remember that payment to Stormy?
And that's all they have. All they have are these petty little insults that absolutely have nothing to do with anything. They can't really talk about the issues. They can't talk about the reality of the situation. They can't talk about how it's your dollars that are going to these illegals, these people who broke the law. Guess what? They get to go buy a house now. Huh. No, yeah, that's totally cool. It's not. And we can actually have that discussion. We can have that conversation why it's a bad idea. Like, maybe we shouldn't incentivize people for breaking the law. Crazy. But again, we all know how the left is about prisons. Abolish prisons. It's the prisons that create criminals. It's not criminals that create prisons. So how dare you talk about, law and order and stuff. Just like the Waukesha guy, got out on $1,000 bail. Oh, wait, we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But again, just seeing this disgusting filth coming from the left, it's what you have grown accustomed to. If this is shocking to you, I apologize, but this is the reality of the Twitterverse. And we get a new guy in charge of Twitter now that Jack Dorsey resigned, strangely enough, on the same day that the Epstein trial thing's starting. It's weird. Anyway, moving on. Now let's talk about a little bit of satire and how people just don't get it.
Jack Dorsey resigns in embarrassment after realizing he helped elect Joe Biden. Babylon B.
You mean he helped spread lies that killed thousands? No, that was A. Orange Hiller. He lost his Twitter account, his job, and his house. What? Who believes this bullshit? After reading this, it's a fake article. Someone in a think tank drinking diarrhea was like, it's The Onion but for right-wing dopes, and it's not funny. There has never been a better communication arm for the Kremlin than American social media.
Yeah. It's not really much I can add to that. I mean, people are really stupid. Like, they are dumb. There are some dumb people out there. So moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about Waukesha. Yep, there's a couple different things coming up, and we'll split it up, but check it out.
The Waukesha attack was deadlier by far than Charlottesville or January 6th, but watch how quickly the media forgets about it since they can't use it as a political tool.
I'm sure the families of the Capitol police officers who later took their lives feel so comforted by that. Charlottesville is deadlier. Those same groups attacked the Capitol and nearly killed democracy.
First of all, no and no. Okay, so not even just completely evading Waukesha completely and just going straight into January 6th, the riot that killed millions and almost killed democracy. Yeah, the only people who died at the Capitol riot were right-wingers. Nobody, else died. And second of all, it wasn't an attempt to kill democracy. Again, if you go back and you look at the videos, most of what happened on January 6th in the United States Capitol was, well, relatively peaceful. Yes, there are some videos out there, and there were some instances out there where it wasn't very peaceful, but there was a lot of just walking around and being ushered around the Capitol. So, I don't know, whatever. I guess you can only see one side or the other, but most of us on the right like seeing the whole picture. But moving on from that, just talking about it for a second, because the Waukesha attack also killed more people than the Boston bomber. Yeah, the Boston bombing did not kill even half as many people as the Waukesha attack did. But again, because it goes completely against their narrative, black dude, black supremacist, hates white people, hates Jews, we can't talk about him. He doesn't exist in our media anymore, unless you watch Fox or some of the other guys that are a little more, hey, this is the real news. Maybe you should watch this instead of repeating the same regurgitated crap over and over again that has nothing to do with anything, and we're just pushing an agenda. So, yeah, funny how they just completely deflected off of that and went straight to January 6th or Charlottesville, which again, only one person died in Charlottesville, and they died from a heart attack, getting hit by a car, and that was it. Other than that, it was Antifa attacking a bunch of racists and normal, everyday, regular patriots that were out there just, doing a march. Like, there's a lot to dive into with Charlottesville, and Trump did the best talking about it. He was like, there were some good folks and there were some bad folks, and that is true. There were good folks on both sides and there were bad folks on both sides. That is a fact, and your sad little feelings will have nothing to do with changing the reality of the situation. Just like Waukesha being a much worse terrorist attack than Boston bombing, and way worse, not even comparable to Charlottesville or the Capitol on January 6th. Moving on, we're going to be talking a little bit more about Waukesha, and this is hilarious how they respond.
Why the Waukesha massacre is so inconvenient for the media and the left. 1. Darrell Brooks is black. 2. He's a leftist with pro-BLM and anti-white views. 3. A Soros DA let his career criminal out on $1,000 bail. 4. Brooks caused death and mayhem without a gun. His car was a deadly weapon.
But Don Lemon, Joe Biden told me the white supremacy was the greatest threat facing America.
And it still is. An isolated incident does not change that fact, no matter how much you want it to. The right seems to be upset that mainstream media isn't cycling the same story with no new information over and over, as if there would be any value in that. And that's why a license is required to drive a car. Inconvenient is when people who have been screaming about law and order and back the blue and America first now find themselves defending this. You know, the riot at the Capitol.
Yeah, they're special because, again, they're saying that they don't want the media to be regurgitating the same thing over and over again, which is all they have been doing for the last 5 years. Russia, Russia, Russia. COVID, COVID, COVID. Russia, Russia, Russia. COVID, COVID, COVID. Ignore this. Nothing to see here. Peaceful protests. Nothing to see here. Huh. No, yeah, we don't want them to continue doing that ever about anything at all. Like Kyle Rittenhouse trial, for instance. I don't know. Anyway, now we're going to be talking a little bit about some random tweets that were also on the trending thing that didn't really have a response to a specific tweet or whatever. They were just random tweets that were out there about certain issues, and we're going to break those down.
The CDC should roll out a new program. Get the shot or get shot. The unvaccinated need to be rounded up and lined up in front of open trenches. The choice is simple. America has had enough of their virus. We need to get back to normal life, with or without them. If they're going to make a distinction between Muslims and extremists, then why should I distinguish between white people and racists?
The right can connect just about any black person to the BLM movement like they were doing with the Waukesha Christmas parade attacker. It is hard to find a black person that hasn't been a victim of racial discrimination. To the right, posting about racism equals Black Lives Matter member. Even before the Waukesha Christmas parade dude killed a bunch of innocent people, he would have been eaten up by the left because of his effing with minors and anti-Semitic Nazi apologist hate.
I think that's a good place to stop. So first of all, we have the guy who's saying kill all the people who don't want the vaccine. That kind of emulates a lot of people on the left because, again, the left are fascists. They are totalitarians. They are authoritarians. They want the government to be able to have complete control. They want a Hitler-esque, Mao-esque, Stalin-esque kind of country. They want a Mussolini in charge, making sure everybody behaves and operates the way that they see fit and the way they think it should be. That's fascism. That's communism. That's why I continuously say they're the same thing. They might have subtle itty-bitty differences, but they are authoritarian dictatorships. And that's what the left wants. That's what they strive for. Because, again, no more personal responsibility, no more freedom, no more rights, no more human rights, no more nothing. It is their way or the gulag. That is what they want. And then, of course, we have John Hacker talking about how, the left would have eviscerated them because of the whole anti-Semitic. Wait, what have we seen from the left forever? Anti-Semitism. They hate Jews. Weird how the Jews continuously vote for Democrats. I don't get it. I'll never get it. But that's all you get from him. Oh, I'm sorry. It's anti-Zionism. They hate Israel. They don't believe the Jews should have a home. That's not the same thing as hating the Jews. No, it's not. Not at all. But don't forget, guys, he also said that he was, a pedophile or something, right? Kind of alluded to that. And then the left doesn't like pedophiles, even though the left is trying to make pedophilia its own, gender thing. It's old sexual preference, and a lot of their leadership are pedophiles, and Rosenbaum is a hero to them, a pedophile, and Portland Antifa's original leadership was a pedophile, and but whatever, no big deal. The left would have eviscerated them because, pedophiles and anti-Semitism and anti-white, hatred and so on, because that's a thing on the left. They don't tolerate that kind of behavior. I almost forgot. Parler was trending on Twitter.
Parlor. 1. French verb, to speak. 2. Unintentional misspelling of parlor. 3. Anagram for LARPer. Hashtag Parler.
If you like Parler more than Twitter, just stay over on Parler. Stop wandering back over to Twitter to bitch.
Parler trending? Really? Who gives a F about social media site that spreads lies and hate? Parler is a propaganda social media site. Beware.
Me, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha, clown. Boot. When I realized that Parler requires a photo ID.
Parler wants a copy of your driver's license to sign up. That may be an obstacle for the majority of their target audience.
Just gotta stop right there for a second. How absurd is that? Having a photo ID or a driver's license would be hard for right-wingers to get. Isn't it the right-wingers that are, wanting ID to vote? And isn't not having ID or telling people to get an ID, isn't that racist? Isn't that person saying that white people can't get ID because they're white, because only white people are Republicans or conservatives? I don't know. It's really hard to keep up sometimes, but don't forget, they talked about the hate. They talked about the hate that they only see on Parler, because there's been no hate on Twitter ever. There's been no gross misinformation or lies on Twitter or anywhere like that at all. It's only on Parler where hate and disinformation spreads, conservatives not having driver's licenses. Moving on.
Apparently that Parler CR app is working, so take your misogyny, racism, bigotry, and ignorance over there. Bye.
Candace, you misspelled Americans as communists. You should read a book or two. It would really set you apart from other Republicans. Hashtag Parler.
If, as Charlie Kirk did on January 6th, you facilitate a domestic terrorist attack on your Capitol Police, and the Constitution of the United States, you are forever an American traitor. Parler, Rand Paul.
How far-right extremist groups face exposure from army of hacktivists.
In a taped interview, Trump supports his violent supporters wish to hang Pence. Republicans still support Trump. Republicans are terrorists. They are a national security threat, plus must be dealt with swiftly, plus quickly. Period.
Not really much I can say about that. Just Kuka for Cocoa Puffs. Thank you, liberals, for showing the world that you truly do suffer from a mental disorder. But moving on to Roe versus Wade was also trending on Twitter. And some people had some things to say about that, which we'll all get a good giggle out of. Just wait.
We're in danger of Roe versus Wade being gutted. This week, the Supreme Court will hear a case that attacks reproductive rights, putting women's health and economic freedom at risk. Dismantling Roe versus Wade would set us back and be devastating for women across the country.
The dismantling of Roe versus Wade would do more than that. There are more women in this country than men. The Supreme Court decides that women do not have the right to choose what to do with their own bodies, but must ask their husbands or parents' permission. There will be a revolt. I am begging Americans, hit the streets now and hit Congress hard too. No reproductive health abortions will kill women. Supreme Court can try to force women to have children against their will, but it didn't work before Roe and will not work if they ban Roe. This would be a short-sighted, misguided, misogynistic act combined with unwanted religious fervor.
Oh my God, did you guys hear that? Did you guys see what just happened there? That middle tweet, they were saying to hit Congress hard. Oh my God, they're going to destroy democracy. Democracy is going to crash and burn and we're all gonna die. Oh my God, millions of people are gonna die because of that tweet that said hit Congress hard. Hit the streets and hit Congress hard. We know what that means, okay? We saw the impeachment trial. We know what go and fight for stuff means. Oh, I forgot. Only if you're on the right does it mean like literal terms, not like, go fight for your freedoms. If the left says go fight for something, that means like we're going to go protest and we're going to go do something nice and special and we're going to just make sure that everybody is peaceful and gets along just great as we're burning buildings down. But if the right says something, that means that armed troops are going to be marching in and killing everybody with AK-47s and tanks and nukes. Because that's the world they live in. But just when you thought this was over and the lunacy couldn't get any more loony, did you know that on Twitter they have a little thing called Spaces now? It's pretty much a giant group chat that is public for everybody to hear and see. And you know how they always talk about these crazy white supremacists and how racist white people are and so on? Wait till you see this.
They look sick. Their skin is falling apart. Is breaking. They can't even be in the sun that long. But y'all even try to make monkey noises at us. First of all, y'all came from monkeys. We did not. That's in y'all history books that y'all came from that. Us black people, we did not. Do you see the color of our skin, honey? No, that's y'all. Let's start there.
Hey,
yo,
Bill
first of all,
DM me talking about
hey,
something.
yo,
He need to come up here.
one
He technically black. He got a question.
Who? Bill, he keeps saying the same thing
Technically.
to me, and he look technically fully
Man,
white.
he look
Why
technically
you can say
operator of.
hey,
technically?
yo,
He
hey,
look like
yo,
he the
hey,
operator of
yo.
security
Hold
system.
up,
He
hold
is
up.
definitely
Hold
I got a
on.
white.
lot
I'm
of
gonna let
DMs.
Bill up here since he's trying to plead his case that he's so black. And I promise you, Bill, if your voice ain't got an ounce of soul in there, watch your head.
One
Black
mic, one mic,
friend.
one mic. My grandma died at 81 years old. Was mean. Them 45 years of her life was fucked up, low-key. The only reason
Jim
she passed,
Crow.
though, because
My grandma too,
she was
bro. But she's
light-skinned.
still kicking.
Because
She's
she
still doing her
light-skinned, ain't gonna hold you.
thing.
But
But
besides
she
that
really
shit, that
didn't
shit
have
was
no
fucked up.
choice. Either that or go to school. She went to college instead of being in the field picking cotton in the fucking South, in racist ass South
Big
Carolina.
hog,
I ain't
so
gonna
he
hold you,
got
man.
he
My,
got
my grandma was
big
kind of
hog, so
colorist,
he got
though,
some
so I ain't
shit to
gonna
say.
flex.
What the
God
fuck?
damn, I ain't saying y'all got some shit to say no more. It's like 10 DMs now. If I said one thing,
Bro, do any of these
I
white
don't
people
give
want
a
to
fuck.
check?
I'm
Are
not
they
reading that
requesting a
shit.
mic?
Stop
I ain't
fucking
reading that shit no
DMing me.
more. It look like somebody
Bro,
trying to hack my
these
account. I ain't gonna
niggas
fake
going in on my
my DM.
DMs.
So
Stop DMing me. I don't care. Tweaking. And Twitter is jumping because of us.
Yo, man. As I said, man, black people were saved for 400 years, and white people can't take a joke for 2 days.
I probably need to.
Damn.
They're so fucking
Damn.
sensitive. They're so fucking
Right.
sensitive.
Always trick.
That's why
They
Like,
can
I
say
like the
nigga,
old school
nigga,
race.
nigga.
I like when racism was
Nothing
old school. I like
happens.
the old school racism. The
Sensitive bitch.
racism,
Nah, what
I don't
I
know what that
don't
shit
like
called.
is this. Why do y'all feel like it's okay for y'all to say nigga and we supposed to take it in and everything? But somebody call y'all a cracker. Oh my gosh, the whole world is ending. Like, bro, relax. Like, y'all ain't even been through that much to be trying to feel like cracker, 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 cracker. Like, shut up. Like, y'all getting on my nerves. Like, y'all want to act like y'all been oppressed so bad. Y'all want to have so much history and y'all don't. Like, ew.
Yeah, I made a status saying black women are special, and somebody commented, "Yeah, real special ed." Like, see what I'm talking about? Like,
Your mom. What the fuck? Why like
That's what I'm
yo,
saying. Like, they.
I'm so done with this shit.
I had to look down at my phone to make sure wasn't no white person saying your mom. I almost got
Not your
pissed off.
mom. That's how it was earlier when I thought,
that
oh
nigga
no,
over
you
there
should have seen when
fast,
I
bro.
came back on the phone. I seen that girl Kate just chilling on the space,
Damn.
like on as a speaker. I was
Hey,
like, who let Kate up here?
On me, y'all ain't hear me say what Kate doing. I was
She
getting
was
real
big
uncomfortable
chilling,
with her
like
right
I didn't
there.
catch
Too
no,
that
close.
no.
shit.
First
How
of all,
she get
Kate
up
knew she
here?
Her
fucked up because
name
she
too
didn't say
close to
nothing. She came in like
Karen.
this.
Her
what
name
Kate
too
Hey,
came
close
I'm
to
up
in
here
here.
Karen.
chilling,
I'm about to
like
say something. I'm about to
I
say the
said, who
N
let
word.
Kate up here? Like she is big
Wait,
chilling.
hold on, because I can't let this go. Who really think we didn't go to the moon? Because y'all said that shit before.
No, nigga.
Bro, we didn't.
Shango. Okay. You
Yes, we
okay.
You
The
did.
Hear
think
me
that?
moon
out.
is in our
You
atmosphere.
think?
So we came up with the algorithm, the whole fucking whatever you want to call it, to get to that hoe. That's what we did. They rewrote this whole bitch saying that they created that shit. They got there on their own. That's what I'm saying.
First of all, I don't know of any white person in the entire world who would be offended by somebody calling them a cracker. Nobody cares. Personally, I prefer to be identified as a saltine American, just to be, more politically correct, even though I am a peppered saltine American because I'm, mixed and all that fun stuff. So I like, or maybe a whole wheat saltine. That'd be cool. Whole wheat saltine American from now on. I think I might actually update my Twitter bio to be identified as whole wheat saltine American. I think that'd probably be a good idea. And second of all, wow, could you imagine a bunch of white people saying, why do black people even exist, with a bunch of question marks? Yeah, that would be taken down in a minute. But this isn't racist because it's a bunch of black people who won't let any white people talk, who are doing nothing but talking crap about white people and being incredibly racist about white people and so on. But again, I'm going to get laughed out of the room because I'm just bringing it up. The hypocrisy and all that. No. If the left didn't have double standards, they would have no standard at all. So that was my day on Twitter, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. And I think I might do more of these because the insanity of the left needs to be exposed for what it really is. They don't live in a world of truth. They don't live in a world of reality by any stretch of the imagination. They make up their own reality. They make up their own truth, and they stick to it. And they do whatever their masters tell them in CNN and MSNBC and on The View and all these crazy lunatic psychos who pretend to be news people who refuse to report on the actual news. And of course, they're fearless elected officials who they hate, but they will do everything that they tell them to do because, again, they are fascist, communist, authoritarian little douchebags. And that is the left. And before I end this thing, I'm going to go ahead and just give you guys a little bit of a treat, a little skosh of holy crap to close this thing out with. Thank you guys for watching. There is a lot more to come.
I'm just going to post this every time people ask me the same questions over and over again. My name's Farah. I am a trans woman as well as an intersex woman. My pronouns are she, her, they, them, or your grace. My eyes are tattooed. My nose is a piercing. I identify as a threat, a nightmare, and a goddess, so please bow down to me. I do not believe in God, I don't worship the devil, but yes, I am a Satanist, which means I am my own God and I worship myself. Thank you. Have a good day.